Welcome to day number 8 of the 12 days to clarity. 8 is my favorite number, and this topic that we're going to talk about today is also one of my favorites. It's about building a full-fledged P&L report in Power BI with visualizations and extra clarity. So, depending on who you ask, well, most people will agree that it's pretty hard to build an income statement in Power BI. Of course, we're going to start with the matrix again, because for everything that needs specific structure or is in any kind of way very complex, I think the matrix is the way to go. Now we're going to use our values, of course, for our values. So we're going to put in our actual. We're also going to put in our plan and maybe even our previous year, just like this. And then to the rows, we're going to add our accounts, right? So we have our accounts here, and then we also can have our account groups above them, like this. So right now, what we're seeing is a P&L statement like, well, we could build. Like, we could make this a lot better, don't get me wrong. The first thing that we could do is we can see we have some of our results already here, our operating income, but we don't really differentiate between one or the other. So they would have to be quite a lot of different formatting, quite a lot of different measures or different things to do to make this look a little bit better. We have also a hierarchy that we can use, right, in Power BI, but here we really can't. The only thing we can do is we can go down to our accounts level or come back up to our account group level, which is good, but I think could be done a lot better. Well, let's see. Let me make this a little bit smaller, and let's see what we can actually do with Zebra BI. Let's start by adding the Zebra BI tables. Let's move them to the middle, and let's make them a bit bigger. Now we're going to add our values, our actuals to our values, and our plan to our plan. Then what we're going to do is we're going to actually start with our account groups. We're going to put them into our categories just like this. And then we're going to add our accounts underneath our accounts group. With this, we've now created a hierarchy. So something that we couldn't do with our native matrix visual, we can already do here. So if I open up revenues, we can see that product revenues and service revenues are actually part of course, our revenue. Now, one thing we have to do is we have to manually sort. So just turn off the sorting that we did, because we need to have a specific sorting for our P&L. And now what we can do is we can go inside and we can see here that we have a calculation waterfall visualization for our actuals available. We are going to pick this, and this is now what is going to actually allow us to create a special kind of visualization, IBCS certified, for our very cool P&L that we're going to build in the end. We can go inside and we can, on our COGS, this is cost of goods sold, right click and invert them, because of course our costs need to lower our bottom line. And then for our gross profit, we can come here, right click and select result, just like this. All right. We're doing good, we're making progress, but of course we at Zebra BI have also thought of a better way, because usually when you're doing financial reports, you need to build quite a lot of your P&L statements. Well, now you can do it even faster than you did before. If I come back to my data, you can see that I have a category class column right here, and I'm going to take this category class and I'm going to just bring it down here a little bit lower into my category class field. And now check out what happens with the visualization. The P&L builds itself. This is something that no other visuals on the market can do. Just a simple drag and drop with another column that actually tells from the data model how we are supposed to look at different accounts in our tables. So it tells us that costs have to be inverted. It tells us that our gross profit is actually result, and it does the same thing for net income, and so on and so on. Now, to make this a little bit more clean, we can also hide the plan column and just stick to variances, and maybe just because I like them, use size dots as well to show our relative variances. Just like this, now we can really notice the flow of our financials, and something like this, a visualization like this, is the easiest way for you to explain the financial flow to somebody that doesn't maybe understand finances as much. So everybody is going to understand that revenues are going up, our costs are then moving our goalpost a little bit lower, and this is our gross profit. If we also take out our operating expenses, we are then left with operating income. Easy to understand, clear for everybody. Now from here we can actually improve our P&L, although this is hard to believe. But if we, let's say, need another calculation, something like our profit margin right here, we can also add this without going into DAX, without going into our data model. Right click on our gross profit and click on add formula. In this add formula, we can write gross margin. I'll just write GM right now. And then here, we can just use the account that we need to make our calculation. For us, this is gross profit, and we are going to divide it by our revenues. This is how gross margin is, of course, calculated. We are going to change this into a percentage, and we're also changing the color. We're going to make it, let's say, this blue, just so we can know that this is an add calculation in percentages, and then we are just going to go and add it onto our visual. And it's right here. This is our gross margin, and it is 63.4%, and it also has calculated the variances, and of course it knows, because it's a percentage measure, it knows that it has to measure the variance in percentage points. Now, we mentioned in the beginning that we create a hierarchy, but I haven't really showed you how it works. So if I open up our revenues now, you can see that we have two different categories that make up our revenues, and I can also open up our operating expenses to get a better view of the different accounts inside of them. Now, I think there's only one thing missing to make this P&L statement the best that it can be, and this is, of course, comments. Now, we can add comments on Zebra BI visuals if we have a comments measure made directly from our data model. So just like this, we're going to add our comments here, and there we go. You can see that the comments were added. We only need to open up the comments box. So we're going to go here, and we're going to turn the comment box on. There we go. And now, this, in my opinion, is the best P&L statement that you can make in Power BI using, of course, Zebra BI visuals. As it stands, I truly believe that native visuals cannot give us the same experience as we can have with Zebra BI. Now, we did move through the video and through this building process quite quickly today, but I do have a longer video where I go step by step and really explain how to build a P&L statement just like you saw in today's video, and I'll link this video in the comments below. Now, we have focused on the profit and loss statement today, but Zebra BI tables can be used to create other kinds of financial statements as well, like balance sheets and cash flow. You can actually do it in the same visualization. Check out our income statement template to learn how. So this means you can use this visual in a multitude of reports, not only your P&L statement, but in something like your working capital report, or maybe even something like a benchmarking report, so you know how you're doing versus your competitors. Now, as you saw, there's a lot of options with using Zebra BI, but I do want to know, how do you currently in your Power BI reports report your financial data? Tell me if you have any tips in the comments below. Now, to start building P&L reports like you saw here, it's pretty easy. Just going to the description below and start your free trial of Zebra BI now. This finishes up day number 8. Thank you for watching, Data Wizards, and I'll see you next time.